Thanks, honey, everybody. I'm Jason York. Thanks for joining me in the Hollywood Nights by Bob Seger. Love Bob Seger. Bob Seger! Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm Jason York. Thanks for joining me on the York Sports Report show for April 29th. Wow. Detroit San Jose game 1 tonight for the semi-Western Conference final. There's a lot of people obviously thinking that Detroit had nothing left in the tank against the Phoenix Suns. However, Datsuk and Zetterberg decided to show up once again, and you will see Detroit in the first round against San Jose. Montreal upsets Washington last night. Good for the Montreal Canadiens. I despise the Capitals. I don't know why. And I like Ovechkin, but I think Ovechkin's problem in this whole series, he was playing a very self-centered game. And I know Alex Ovechkin kind of gets this a little bit, but he was pressing on every single play. Every time he had the puck, he was trying to force it to happen, force goals left and right. You can't do that. You just can't play hockey like that. You can't play basketball, football, Major League Baseball. You just cannot force the issue. You have to let the game come to you, and when the game comes to you, boom, you utilize, you capitalize, and the Capitals just didn't, no pun intended, capitalize. Canadians move on against Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh will have their way, though. Anyways, and then Philadelphia and Boston, which I think is going to be a great series. The good news about that series, and I hope this isn't too soon. I'm not a doctor. I've had a few concussions. But at the end of the day, I really hope Marc Savard gets the clearance to return to the game 100%. I hope he passed all the tests, everything. Concussions are something you just cannot mess with. The bottom line is Savard will come back and play for the Boston Bruins sometimes in this series. That leads us up to Saturday night at 6 o'clock on Hockey Night in Canada. Of course, it will be the Vancouver Canucks and the Chicago Blackhawks. Round 2, the Western Semi-Conference Final. The Hawks had practice about an hour ago. They finished up. The big news there was that Byfuglien is now, and we heard this late last night, well, sometime earlier yesterday actually, pardon me. Byfuglien has moved off the blue line, which I knew was going to happen. And we'll move up to the forward position once again. Now, apparently in practice today, Byfuglien was taking sort of his residential spot in front of Antini Niemi and Cristobal Huet, and they were working on some plays and all that stuff. So Luongo's nightmares will begin once again. The key issue in this series, though, and Coach Quenneville made a comment about it, is the retaliation. You've got guys like Ladd, you've got Brouwer, you've got Adam Burish, who I sure hope that they use a lot in this series. He really needs to be interjected into this series way more. But you've got those guys, you got Versteeg, obviously you got Byfuglien, and then you've got Burroughs, you've got Kessler, you've got Raymond. Raymond is not a big-time shit disturber, but at the end of the day, Kessler and Burroughs are. They flat out. They know how to retaliate, and they know how to get you to retaliate. So that was a concern from Coach Quenneville's media conference today. After the practice, he had made comments about retaliating, that Vancouver's defense this year with the addition of Christian Ehrhoff is better. I mean, let's face it, when Kevin Bieksa wants to put the puck on net, he's got a sort of snapshot, sort of fluttering shot towards the net. He always gets it on net. Kevin Bieksa can get the puck on net. And then you add Sami Salo. Sami Salo, knock on wood for the Canuck fans, if he stays healthy and he continue to brings that big shot to the table, plus Christian Ehrhoff's slap shot that Coach Quenneville commented on today, is that they're a better shooting defensive squad now. Christian Ehrhoff can wire the puck. I mean, he just flat out can wire the puck. I mean, they're better there. They're better on the back line by far this year. The other thing that Quenneville did sort of mention on was that the Sedins this year are better on the rush, and they are. They just flat out are. Somewhere, even in the beginning of the season, but it really started to take surface in the middle of the season, and even down the stretch and right in the playoffs, the Sedins minus that extra pass, and when they were coming down the wing, they would drive to the net themselves. They would keep the pucks to themselves, and they would shoot the puck on net. And that's something we have never seen with the Sedins. I don't know if that's because of maturity, because of confidence, because of physical maturity, whatever, mental maturity. But at the end of the day, the Sedins on the rush are starting to attack the net way more and shooting the puck way more. So that's going to be, that's another concern that Coach Quenneville had mentioned as well. Let's face it, folks. The Canucks aren't a weak team in terms of scoring. 620 goal scorers. They came in second this year in terms of goal scoring, right behind the Washington Capitals. So going into the playoffs now, the Vancouver Canucks are the top scoring team now that Washington is out. The one thing, though, that I'm going to be watching very feverishly right now is how long Quenneville keeps Jonathan Toews and Kane and Bickell. Now, Bickell's a young kid. He's a rookie. Well, he's not a rookie. He's been up and down for the last couple of years. But he's a big kid. He brings a big presence to the table. He's somewhat physical. And he's got so-so hands. I'm not going to say he's got great hands, but he's got so-so hands. But he brings a different element to the table for Kane and Toews. So that being said, I'm not sure how long that line is going to stay together. You've got Sharp, you've got Hossa, you've got Ladd, you've got Brouwer. When Brouwer plays with Toews, Brouwer can bulge the twine. There's no doubt about it. But the guys that I'm really interested in watching in terms of seeing how they do over the course of this series is Patrick Sharp and Marian Hossa. This is going to be their time right now. Sharp started to get hot in the series against Nashville. Hossa started to get his wheels and some of his skill back in terms of his hands and his finesse and all that. I don't care what anyone says. The bottom line is when Chicago came back after the Olympic break, they were tired. Anyways, we'll come back. We'll do another show later on with some more in-depth research. We're going to go back and look and try and find some more information about what Coach Quenneville has been talking about today. He had somewhat of a lengthy conference after practice today. We'll see if Alain Vigneault has any more comments about the Canucks. Yesterday in Vancouver was Canuck Day. That's great, that's grand, that's fun, I think it's kind of cool and all that stuff. But can we save it to before, or, if the Canucks get to the Western Conference Final, or Stanley Cup Day? I don't know. I'll tell you this right now, if the Canucks win the Stanley Cup Day, there will be literally a flipping holiday in Vancouver. Like once a year, we'll all sort of kick back and relax and remember the day the Canucks maybe won the Stanley Cup. But we'll come back a little bit later on today. We'll do another show. We're collecting more and more information throughout the days. It seems like every other third or fourth hour there's a little bit of news coming out of Chicago, coming out of Vancouver. Again, Byfuglien is playing forward. He was in practice today. He was playing in front of Antoni Niemi, causing him a little grief and all that. But it should be good. Ryan Johnson is skating with the Canucks. Ryan Johnson is going to go to Chicago. Another note that I picked up yesterday, the Hawks called up Jason Cullimore from the Rock there in Illinois, I believe. And I'm not sure if he's going to get in there or not. And I don't know when Johansson's coming back. But that's going to be interesting because if Jason Cullimore gets in there, he's a big body. He's a big body. He's not the greatest defenseman in the world, but he's a big presence back there. So it'll be interesting. Anyways, I'm Jason York. Thanks for watching. We'll come back. We're going to do a few more shows. Like I said, more and more information is starting to trickle in a little bit more. Start time for Saturday's game, Game 1, Hawks Canucks at the United Center, is 6 o'clock our time. So I'm Jason York. Enjoy.